Hey guys, Dr. Childs here. Today I'm going to talk to you about a brand new supplement that I just created called GlucoSlow Fiber. This is a brand new supplement designed to help with weight loss, to help manage your appetite, and also to help improve the bacteria in your gut. And it works through a completely different mechanism than any of the other supplements that I have. So I want to actually show you. This is one example of a supplement that I can actually show instead of just describing it, right? A lot of my other supplements, they work physiologically. They work inside of your cells, but this doesn't. So this is really cool. So let me show you. So I have here some of this fiber. So you can see this. This is basically the ingredients of GlucoSlow Fiber, which has been unencapsulated and just stuck into a little jar, okay? So here's the same thing, same amount, but with a little bit of added water. So you see the difference here? I mean, I could put this upside down and it's not coming out. It's like a gelatinous goo now. Okay, so what this is it's just GlucoSlow Fiber with added water, and this is why it's so effective. So you can imagine this substance inside of your stomach. What it does is when you take GlucoSlow Fiber and you consume it with water, it turns into a very viscous fiber. Like I said, look, it's not even coming out of here, okay? Same thing. It's very viscous. And this viscous fiber does some really important things in your stomach. Number one is that it increases the mass, the total amount of mass that's inside of your stomach. And if you consume this fiber before you eat, along with a glass of water, it will expand inside of your stomach and turn into this goo. Now, or this gelatinous sort of material. What it does though is it sends as it turns into this goo, it expands and it pushes against the wall of your stomach. And that sends receptors or messages to your brain through something called the stretch receptors found inside your stomach. And that tells your brain, hey, we have enough food in here. We don't need to eat anymore. So it manages your appetite by managing those receptors. So that's one way that it works. The second is that you can imagine putting some other food or something else inside of here. This gelatinous goo holds on to things. So it becomes very viscous. And so if you consume this with food, or if you consume this 15 minutes before food, which is, we'll talk about how I recommend using it in just a minute. But imagine having that in your stomach and being mixed inside with the contents of your food. It all forms together into this sort of gelatinous goo sort of substance. So imagine what happens when your body tries to digest it. It slows down the digestive process because it's harder to extract those nutrients from this substance, right? So what that does, that prevents your blood sugar from spiking after a meal, and it also helps reduce blood sugar and also help reduce or reverse something called insulin resistance. So it helps by managing your appetite by increasing the amount of mass that's in your stomach, which is sending those receptors or the messages to your brain telling you, hey, we don't need to eat anymore. Second of all, it's actually holding on to the food that you're consuming, which is preventing or delaying, doesn't prevent, but it delays the absorption of those nutrients, which reduces the blood sugar spike after a meal, and then also correspondingly reduces the spike in insulin that a lot of people see. So it's helping with weight loss in that way. And then second of all, you can see here, this is really like food for the gut, for the bacteria inside of your gut. Okay, they can consume off this. It's really, really good for them to be eating this type of thing. So it acts as a prebiotic, which helps encourage the growth of healthy bacteria inside of your gut as well. So you have three different mechanisms by which this substance, which is again GlucoSlow Fiber, which is actually a glucomannan / propolmannan substance found inside of here, helps manage weight loss. Now the cool thing is this works through a completely different mechanism than any of my other weight loss supplements. In fact, any of the supplements I have at all right now. Because remember, those supplements, like let's say leptin resistance RX or berberine, they're acting inside of your cells. They're helping you to either reduce insulin or leptin resistance in the case of leptin resistance RX, or they're helping you build lean muscle mass and burn fat directly in the case of berberine. So this can be used in combination with all types of the supplements that I currently have, as well as my other weight loss supplements. So it's in addition to all of these things, and it works via a completely different mechanism that most people aren't even aware of, or most people don't take advantage of. And it works very well. And by the way, as this example, this was just a little bit of water that I wanted to show you as an illustrative example. But if you drink more water, which is how I recommend it, then that will, it'll be even a greater impact inside of your stomach. So we just need to scale it down a little bit for demonstration purposes. So as you can expect, we'll talk about how to take it in just a second. One thing you need to know before you use this supplement is that you should not take it before your medications or other supplements, right? Because they're going to get stuck inside this thing too. Okay, so it's good if your food gets stuck inside it, but you really don't want the supplements, especially if you're taking any of mine, to get stuck inside there because it delays the absorption of those nutrients and getting those substances inside of your body. So you should at least take this an hour away from any other supplements, especially thyroid medication, but any medications, any other supplements. and thyroid medication as well. So that's number one. Number two is that you can use this to help in a multitude of different ways. So my recommended way is to use this in conjunction with intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting. Now, it is perfectly safe to take if you are using this sort of therapy, which is intermittent fasting, because it does not contain calories, it does not contain carbohydrates, and it does not contain protein, right? Which means that it's not going to break your fast, but you can do something really cool with it. Imagine taking this with a big glass of water and then filling up your stomach while you're fasting. So it's still sending the messages to your brain that says, hey, we're not that hungry, but it doesn't break your fast. So this is a really neat way that you can augment and make your fasting a little bit easier. So that's one way to use it. So you can use it to augment and to make your intermittent fasting a lot easier, or you can just use it on a day-to-day basis to control your appetite. So if you were going to use it for intermittent fasting, what you would do is you would use it at any point during your fast that you are feeling hungry, right? You just take 3 to 6 capsules, which is the recommended dose, and then you would take it with a big glass of water, 1 or 2. That would, the water mixes with the fiber itself, it expands dramatically once it gets interacts with the water, and then it forms that goo inside of your stomach, and then it expands, sends the message to your stomach that says, hey, we're full. Meanwhile, you haven't broken your fast, but you've made it easier in the process. So that's one way. Use it with intermittent fasting. Number 2 is that you can use it before a big meal. You can either use it before your biggest meal of the day, or between 2 medium-sized meals in the day. So you can take 6 capsules before your biggest meal, or you can take 3 capsules twice per day, 15 minutes before your biggest meal. So what you would do is 15 minutes before you know it's time to eat, like let's say you're going to go out to eat with your friends or something like that, and well, I want to be social, I want to go out with them, but I know I really shouldn't be eating a lot of this food. So you take 3 to 6 capsules before that, take it with a big glass of water, and then already before you get there, before you eat, you now have this substance which is taking up a portion of the space available inside of your stomach. So even if you are going to eat, you're going to eat less, and it's also going to manage your appetite so you don't have those cravings or the need to binge or anything like that. So that's another way you can use it. You can use it before your meal, 15 minutes before, with a huge glass of water. And then the final way is that you can use it just on a day-to-day basis, first thing in the morning or whatever, it doesn't really matter when you take it, to treat insulin resistance and high blood sugar. So it can be used in that way as well. So there's 3 different methods that I recommend using this for weight loss. You have the intermittent fasting approach, you have the before your biggest meal or before your 2 biggest meals, or 2 medium-sized meals, we'll say. And then number 3, on a day-to-day basis for just treating high blood sugar and or insulin resistance. So again, this is GlucoSlow Fiber. It works by taking advantage of a special ingredient. So you probably are familiar with the term glucomannan. This is like an extraction of glucomannan into a different substance which is called propolmannan, which is more effective than glucomannan. So that's sort of why it's more effective, and it enlarges a lot more than just regular glucomannan would. And it's a perfectly safe substance to use. The supplement is very well tolerated, has virtually no side effects, and it's really effective. And again, it works via a completely different mechanism than my other supplements. So if you give it a try, I think you'll like it. And if you have any questions about it, please leave them in the comments below, or get in contact with us at hello@restartmed.com, and we'll be happy to answer those. And so otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.